I made a tiny crochet watermelon, and now I want one for every bag I own. Hi guys, I'm Ezra from Essie.Crochets, and today we're making this tiny watermelon bag charm. It's quick, it's beginner friendly, and perfect for bags, keychains, or even summer gifts. So what you'll need to do this is, yarn. Since this is a watermelon, I'm using red, white, and green. You'll also need a 3.5 millimeter hook. This is for week double, so use the appropriate hook size for the yarn you're using. But, I wanted a smaller hook to get like closed out stitches. You will need scissors. You will need a darning needle. You also need this circular clasp. And also you can use it for keychains. So this is a keychain, which I would like to try next time. But it's basically going to be the same. Instead of making the loop on the clasp, you'll be making the loops on the end of the chain. And then for filling, I'm not using fiber, polyfiber. I am using yarn scraps that I have that I don't know what to do with. So instead of throwing them out, I will be using those to fill the watermelon. I have done this before in this one, and it's actually quite sturdy because I don't want it to be too fluffy and that it bends. I prefer the fibers or the yarn because it holds shape. Okay, and let's get into it. Alrighty. So for starters, I will start with a magic circle. And the way I do it is I hold my yarn with my thumb on my middle finger, like you see, wrap it around my index and middle finger until it forms an X shape at the back, and then those two lines in the front, and then secure it with my thumb again, holding it with the tail. I pass my hook under the first line, grab the second one and pull, twist my hand to form like a knot on my hook, and then grab my working yarn and pull that through the loop. And there you go, you have a magic circle. So now what we'll do, this first stitch does not count as anything, so I'm going to do 8 single crochets into the magic loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we now have 8 single crochets inside our magic loop. I will close out my loop by pulling on the tail. Pull on it as tight as possible. There we go. And then join in the beginning single crochet. So slip stitch into that first stitch, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the loop that's already on your hook. And there you go. This is round 1. And now let's move on to round 2. So for round 2, we want to go up to the next row. We will chain 1, which also does not count. And then inside the same stitch, I don't know if it's possible to see here, but in the same space you just got out of, you work 2 single crochets. That's 1, and that's 2. And then in each one you will work 2 single crochets because we are doing increases basically to widen the circle up. So we want to do 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Oops, I just missed it and undid one of the stitches. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. When you reach the end, you should have 16 because we are doubling the count that we already had. So make sure that you have the right count 1, 2, 1, 2. You should now have 16. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. When you have 16, you want to join to the first single crochet by slip stitching. So slip stitch, there we go. And now you have done round 2. Moving on to round 3, we want to do the same thing, chain 1 to go up 1 row, but this time instead of increasing every single stitch, we will be increasing every other stitch, which means we will work 1 single crochet in the same space and then 2 single crochet in the next one. So you're basically increasing every other stitch. So that's 2. So the next one will be 1 and then 2. 1 and then 2. So keep going this way and I will meet you at the end. So I've worked an increase in every other stitch, and now I'm at the last stitch. I want to do 2 single crochets. 1, 2. Should have 24 stitches, so let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Perfect. So now again, same thing, we will slip stitch in the first single crochet to join. Perfect. And now let's move on to the next. So for the next round, we will do the same thing. Chain 1 to go up to the next row, and we will be increasing every 2 stitches instead of every other stitch. So basically what we'll do is single crochet in the first one, single crochet in the second one. Oh, I think it's increasing in the third stitch, and then 2 single crochets in the third. So 1, 1, 2. Again, 1, 1, and 2. So keep going and I will meet you at the end. Okay, so now we're at the end. We have 1 stitch remaining, which we will work 2 single crochets into. And let's count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So you should have 32 stitches at the end. And now we'll do the same thing. We will slip stitch to join. And that is round 4. And now I will join the white in any place. I will do a standing single crochet, so I will add a slip knot on my hook. There we go. And now I will insert my hook. I added a slip knot and I will insert my hook and work 1 single crochet. So the last time we were increasing every 3rd stitch, so now we want to increase every 4th stitch because we still want to grow the circle. So let's start, let's say this is the first one. So 1, 1, 1, and 2. The next stitch is 1, and the next stitch 1, and the next stitch 1, and in the next stitch 2 single crochets. So again, 1, 1, 1, and then 2. Alright, so let's keep going until we reach the end of this circle right here. Okay, I've worked until I reach the last stitch. I will work 2 single crochets into that stitch, 1, 2, and I will slip stitch into that standing single crochet, and round 4 is done. So now let's move on to round, oops, I think that was round 5, sorry. Round 5 is done, and now we'll move on to round 6. Round 6, as you can see here from the one I have, we will be joining our green. So we'll do the same thing, cut our yarn, pull it out, tug on it a little bit so it stays put, and then I will join my green anywhere I want. Okay, so here it is. I will add a slip knot. There we go. And I will join my green anywhere I want using a standing single crochet. So basically do a single crochet on the fly. The last time we were increasing every 4th stitch, so this time we'll be increasing every 5th stitch. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 in the 5th. 1, 2. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 in the 5th stitch. You want to make sure when you join your yarn that the right side is facing you instead of the wrong side, so you're joining the colors and working in the same direction instead of like realizing that, oh, I've joined to the wrong side, and now some of my stitches are facing the right side, some of them are facing the wrong side. So be very careful when you do that. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We will work 2 on the 5th chain or stitch. Okay, so keep going and I will meet you at the end, the last stitch. Okay, I have reached the last stitch, and now I will be working 2 single crochets in the last one. So that's 1, 2, and like we did every other round, we will slip stitch to join in the first single crochet, which is the standing one. That is it for this round, and now let's move on to round 7. So for round 7, we will do exactly the same thing, which is chain 1 to go up, but instead of increasing in the 5th stitch, we will be increasing in the 6th stitch. So we'll work 1 single crochet, another 1, 1, 1, you have 4, that's 5 right here, and then 2 single crochets in the 6th stitch. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 single crochets in the 6th stitch. I'm gonna do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 single crochets. So let's keep going and I will meet you at the end. One more time, we have reached the end, And now we will work 2 single crochets in the last stitch, so 1 and then 2, and we will join to the first single crochet. And now you can see that we have a circle that is 3 colors. So now let's move on to actually creating that crescent shape basically, and the loop at the top where we will be either adding our clasp to or our keychain. So let me show you how we will do that. Okay, so first off, I will be chaining to form the loop. Since I'm already at the top, this is what I consider the top, I've folded it over and I can see that this is the wedge, and I can form my chain over here, which is this one, to join my clasp to later. So after we do that, we will close this out and stuff it basically. So I'm gonna chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can always check to see how long you want it. So see, 6 is gonna create kind of like a really small space here because this is 3 and this is 3. So I want maybe 5, so 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'll fold it over again to see if I like the height, and I think I like it this way, so I will add 1 more because we will be going back down. So since we're working single crochets, we need to chain 1 extra, and then flip it over and work into the back bumps of those chains. So 1, 2, 3. This can be a little bit tricky with the smaller hooks, so take your time and grab every single one, don't miss one. Although it is a little bit forgiving, so it just means that the strap or loop will be a little bit shorter, but let's try and get them all. And 1 more here. Well, not 1 more, we still have a couple. So the next one. There we go. Doesn't really matter if you work in the back lumps or back bumps or the regular front of the leg. I just prefer the back. Okay, there we go. And now I'm gonna go back up and you'll see why in a second. So we'll chain 1, and now I'm working regular single crochets in both the front and back legs. Okay, and now here's where it gets different, sort of. If you're gonna be using the clasp, which is this closed circle thing, you can just go right at the bottom where you first started this and slip stitch to close this loop. But if you're using a keychain, you're gonna have to get this part, the loop part, through this small ring right here, and then use your needle to close instead of your hook, because you'll have to basically cut your yarn. You can't pass all of this through. this tiny hole. So we're gonna actually try that now. So I'm gonna grab a very, very long tail. Because we're still gonna need to sew this close. And I am going to pull my yarn through. And now I am going to thread my needle, which will make it a little bit easier getting it through this hole of the keychain. Grab my keychain and pull through. I might need to tug on it a little bit because it is thicker. Okay. And now you can either join it again with the hook or with the needle, but I prefer to use the needle to make sure it's secure. So I'm just gonna sew this on to close. I will try to catch the single crochets from the loop and sew them back so it holds in place. Gonna do that again. See, I'm passing my needle through the top of the loop. I'm going back into the body of the bottom one. And do it again. Keep looking, make sure that this looks secured. I'm just going to sew in into the base of the top. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but I just want to make sure that I'm joining the top to close that loop in really good so that it does not come undone in the future. Okay, I think this is pretty tight. Maybe one more time for good measure. Okay, so now that I've joined the loop, we will start closing out the actual watermelon part. So I'm actually going to use those as if they're scraps. Just put them in there. So make sure when you're closing it out that the right side is still facing outside. And what you'll basically do is either slip stitch across to close it, which is my preferred method, or use your darning needle to close it out, like so. Go under the two loops. I don't know if this is clear. Let me try and see. So you see those two legs? This is this side's V-stitch or single crochet, and this is this side. So I'll go under the closest two and then pull my yarn. And then this time I'll go backwards and pull my yarn. The reason why I don't like sewing it is that if you stuff it too much, it might show. So let me actually show you how to slip stitch this. Just gonna undo the last one. Okay, so here we have our working yarn, as if it is a working yarn. I will do the same thing. Pull my hook under the first leg and under the second leg, and then pull yarn over and pull through. I need to flip it a little bit, or like rotate it. So that's the first one. Let's catch the next one, which is right here and right here. Yarn over and pull through. Same thing, next stitch, yarn over and pull through. This creates kind of like an edge, which I actually don't mind. Like you see right here, this edge, I think it looks cute. So we will close out some of it, and then before we close it out completely, we need to stuff the watermelon basically. So I will join until I reach maybe like the half point, and then I will start stuffing the watermelon. Let me grab that again and just keep slip stitching, closing the two sides together. There we go. Okay, now I'm about at the half point, kind of. I will pull on this loop to keep it from unraveling. I'll push the yarns that I already have in there to the top, and then start grabbing from my yarn scraps and basically just stuffing it. Doesn't have to be fluffy. Like I said, I actually want it to be a little bit stiff to hold shape. The only concern we have is that we don't want it to show. Unless you're using fibers, that's fine. But I also don't think that it will be very visible because it's tiny. But you can also use scrap yarns that match the colors you're using. So in this case, I would use red. But I don't have a lot of them right now, so I'm using some orange and some watermelon colors actually. Okay, and now I don't want to keep stuffing anymore, so I will put my hook on one more time. Let's get this out of the way. Let's find that loop. Here we go. And now pull on it a little bit. And if you feel like you've stuffed it too much, you can always just remove some of it. But I like it to be very stiff. So, okay, now we'll continue slip stitching over the sides. Just push that yarn in. And as you saw, I didn't have any method because this is not like a doll or a plushie. I just want it to hold shape, so that's why I just stuffed it randomly. If you think there's a better way to do this, tell me in the comments. And also, if you like this video and think it was helpful, please like the video and subscribe to get more videos from me every Wednesday and Saturday. And we're just gonna keep slip stitching. Just push this tiny one in, and we're getting really close to close this out. So one, oops, keep slipping. That's all right. There we go. And then one more, and then one last time. And we just slip stitched this and close it out. I'm gonna press on it a little bit to try to distribute the yarn inside so that it's not like lumpy in one side and like flat in the other. But here we go. And now what I like to do to actually like really secure it, and maybe to avoid these gaps, I don't know if you can see them right here, those ones. I like to take my yarn needle, because we still need to weave in this end, right? And I want to go back and like use the yarn to like maybe fortify this a little bit more. So I'm gonna, since this is already like a cut end, you don't have to cut my yarn, I'm just gonna pull it through, thread my yarn needle, and basically just go under the slip stitches that we just did and basically go backwards. That and emphasizes the ridge that we have here, but it also is useful to hide some of those holes if you don't pull it too tight, because you're basically adding yarn in those places. See? And that's really about it. So I'm gonna go back this way, finish it, and then show you the final result. There you have it. We have our watermelon keychain. And this is the one that I had, which is the bag charm. It's basically really the same thing. You just, instead of using a keychain, you use the circular clasps. And you just join it onto your bag. Like so. So make my bag. Excuse me. It's stupid. And I will get the one that has the clasp. Open it up. And join it. There you go. See? It's not going anywhere. And then I'll probably need to find some keys for this one, but that's really about it. It is so adorable. And we'll definitely be adding this onto my keychain. It's also very lightweight, like it's not even heavy at all, even though we really stuffed it. And that's the finished watermelon charm or keychain. This would be also adorable in different fruit colors. So if you have a favorite fruit that you want me to do next, let me know. Write down in the comments and I will make sure to create a video for it. Thank you so much for watching and happy crocheting. See you in the next one.